Hey everybody, it's Tuesday, November 25th, 2025, 2 days before Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving week. I'm Verna from StampinNotes, and I'm excited to share some Pinwheel projects with you on my Facebook Live today. And I'm just getting on there with my computer. If you're on, say hi. Tell me where you're from. And if you comment and share, you will be put into a drawing for some goodies. Okay, so there we are. It looks like we are live. Looks like my computer is in the way, so I'll move that just a little bit. I'm gonna go back here. So last week I didn't go live. I was busy with another project featuring the pine tree trimmings bundle, and I'll show that to you. I guess I'm gonna leave that here. So this week it's Black Friday week, and you know Stampin' Up! Has a special, really cool ordering special, 40% off the trimmer. 40% off Stampin' Blends markers, which is a really good deal, and trimmer blades, 15% off some other cardstock, select cardstock. And so if you order with me this week, and you want to order early to get any of that stuff that's on sale, you will get the tutorial for this pine tree trimmings class. There's 6 projects in this class, including our card box card here, and our envelope flap card. There's a chalkboard card. There's snowflakes, a snowflake pattern, a shaker card, and another little tree box card here. So it's a really good value. So if your order is $50 or more, you'll get the PDF tutorial for this class with the pine tree trimmings bundle. If your order is over that, you will also get to pick a tutorial that's $15 or lower in my online store this week. So that is the ordering special, and I'm excited to share that with you. And now today I'm going to share some Pinwheel Christmas projects with you. This is my Pinwheel table runner card. I can't wait to share that with you. We're going to do an ornament, and we're going to do another card. So let me show you how to do the basic Pinwheel pattern. And it's not hard at all. Today I'm going to be using the beautiful Elegant Pine Snowflakes Designer Series paper. With the other projects that I just showed you, that was with the Traditions of Christmas Designer Series paper. And these are softer, more muted colors. Lots of different greens. I think there's Pretty Peacock, Shaded Spruce, Old Olive in it. And this goes with, there's a bundle that goes with it where you can die cut the beautiful snowflakes. I love this. We're going to be using a lot of that today. And I thought I'd just change it up a little bit so you can see what the pinwheels look like with different paper. And here's the back of that paper. So you can see there's a Pretty Peacock there, Old Olive, Shaded Spruce. There's more Shaded Spruce, Pretty Peacock. So lots of beauty, lots of greens. Let's read. There is Cherry Cobbler, Garden Green, Old Olive, Pretty Peacock, Secret Sea, and Shaded Spruce. So those are the colors in this pack. All right, so let's do the ornament first. And I set that paper over here. Excuse my arm. So I made a template, and if you make these, it will be helpful. I made a template. I have two 3 1/8 by 3 1/8 inch squares on here. And one of them, you're going to put the points at the top and the bottom. That's the bottom square. And this is secret C. And then the other square, you're going to layer over that evenly, so it's even on both ends and on the sides. And it's just easier to have a template made so that when you go to make your own ornament, or if you're using this for a card, you just have to lay your cut squares on top of this to line them up. It's a lot less work to do that. All right, so we are going to, I'm going to move my phone over just a little bit here. And move that out of the way. And I forgot to say that Margaret Bourgoin won the gems for commenting and sharing last time. And she won, I had them over here and I don't have them right here at this minute, but a pack of current gems. Hi, Kathy. I'm going to get my computer line back up there. All right, so, and if you're wondering about the glue gun, this is from My Sweet Petunia, or you can get it on scrapbook.com. It's great because it sits in this holder that keeps the end from plugging, and you can push your glue bottle out, up and out to refill it. And I generally use the Tombow glue that Stampin' Up! Sells. I really love that glue, and it comes with another bottle that you can use to fill it, like to put your Tombow glue in. Can't talk. Okay, so we're going to start with 2 pieces of cardstock that are 3 1/8 by 3 1/8, and I just told you about the template here. All right. So my bottom one, I'm just laying on top of that just to line it up, just because it's easier to line it up. And in the middle here, I'm going to add a circle of adhesive just for the other one to stick to it. And then this one is going to lay over it this way. And I'm lining it up with the square on my template. And I'm just going to put a little pressure on that so the glue adheres to those fibers. Now I've used, for this is a fairly large base to use. And for this base, you need 4 of each, a dark color and 4 of a light color from your designer series paper. And I use the second smallest square to cut these out. Or you could, you don't have to use a die cut, you can just cut them. Let me get my ruler to see what the measurement of that is. I'll just bring my paper trimmer. All right, so the measurement of this is, so your squares, these are about 1.5 inch squares to layer, that we're gonna need to layer on top of our base. So here's our base. We can put the template aside for our base and just lay it down like that. And I'm going to grab some tweezers and my paper. So for one of the colors, I've used gold, and you need 4 of each. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I've also die cut 4 from the designer series paper. They're right here. And you want the same pattern for all of them. For the second smallest stylish shaped square. And I will have a free project sheet for these projects. Probably by tomorrow morning it'll be up on my blog. All right, so the way we're going to build this is we're going to start with the square that fits in this right side here, right here. So I'm going to start with one of these. For the first square, we're only going to add adhesive on the back of this right side. We're not going to add adhesive all over the whole square. So we're just going to add a line of adhesive right here, because the last square we need to be able to tuck into this square. And I'm laying it on there with about 1/8 of an inch around the edges. Move that down just a little bit here. Okay. So it looks like that. So now we're going to go with an opposite color. So this square is going to layer right onto our base right there. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add glue all over the back of this, or at least along the edges here. All right, and we're going to line it up the same way. So we've got about 1/8 of an inch, maybe it's more like 1/16 of an inch. And you want to make sure they're straight. Right, and you can see these corners line up with each other. So now we take our next piece. We're going to use the DSP. Go around that. And we're going to lay the DSP right in this corner here. So what is everyone doing for Thanksgiving? And you can see this is lined up straight here with this one. We are all meeting at one of my sons. There's about, when we're all together, there's about 25 of us. So it's a pretty big crowd, and he has a nice open space. There are a lot of littles in our family, so they have a huge like recreation area in their downstairs where they can just run and have a good time. They're pretty noisy. So that's helpful to have a big space for them to go in. So we're going every other pattern. Every other square is the same pattern. So go the gold and then the DSP. Oops, I skipped this space right here. Gotta watch that. All right, so this needs to go here. We need to go down just a little bit. Not paying attention and yakking. Okay, there we go. These make nice ornaments or nice tags on a gift. You could put, you could do it in all white, so you could write on the back of it. If you're going to make an ornament, I decorate both sides of it. And I'll show you on the other one that I did. Okay. So this is where you can see all our points are meeting pretty well together. Aw, Kathy. Yes. My mom is 89 and my brother is coming up from York, PA. So they will be with us, which will be nice, but it's hard too when you're older to get out and do all of that. All right, so this is what we've got. We've got one more piece to put in. So for our last square, it's going to go right here, and we're going to tuck it underneath this first square. So I'm going to go ahead and put the adhesive on it. And we're going to tuck it in there. Line it up on the end. Ooh. Okay. And then we're going to add adhesive to our DSP. That's the first one that's not adhered down all the way. Now you could put a sentiment here, or you could put die cuts. You could add gems. It'd be pretty with just gems too. Now the other one that I had done, I did the other side of it also. And this was a little die cut from, I want to say Christmas Tags and More. So both sides of it are finished. Hi, Suzanne. Suzanne from New Zealand. Nice to have you on there. You guys are in your summer, or going into summer, which is nice. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to take a paper punch and punch a hole in the top of this, or you can take your pick tool and do it that way. Oh, where's my paper punch? I must have brought it over here and I'm not seeing it, which is normal for me. You guys know that. So we may end up taking the take your pick tool and making the hole that way. Okay, and I'm going to get my piercing mat. It's raining here. The weather's turning cold. We're supposed to get snow. Oh, you're loving the sunshine after a long, wet winter. Well, thank you, Suzanne. All right, so I'm just going to take and pierce this. And this is a really cool mat because you can use it for stamping with your photopolymer stamps, or you can use it for piercing like I just did there. And let's add a piece of ribbon on that. Let's see if I have any gold trim here. Gold trim. Oh, there's my paper punch. And I need to be more organized. The story of my life. Okay, let's add red. I'm not seeing the gold, so. Yes, we could get a white Christmas. I like white Christmas. Now, my husband, not so much, because he has to clean out driveways. But, and then after Christmas, it can go away. But it is pretty. That's for sure. All right, so this is our real red shiny ribbon, or our shiny real red ribbon. And scissors. What happened is I changed my filming space, so I've got everything like in a small little space, and so it's super congested. No excuses. All right, so we'll trim this. And this end is already kind of ratty, so I'm going to just twist it up. I'm going to have to trim it anyways, and we'll put this through there. Now, I did not decorate the other side just for the sake of time, but I probably will. And I'm just going to make a loop, tie a knot here. You could add beautiful trim tied around the red ribbon, like down here. It would be really pretty. Let's trim these. All right, and let's add some gems in the center of that. We'll go for gems instead of a sentiment. And I have these cherry dots, cherry something, I can't remember. They came out last year with the Nests of Winter, or the Winterly Tree Tops. And the Nests of Winter paper. They're really pretty. Oh, that's really pretty. I like that. Okay, so there is our ornament. And here's the other one that I did with the Traditions of Christmas, DSP. All right, so let's go on to do a card. And we're going to use a smaller base for this card. So this is the card that I did with the Traditions of Christmas, DSP. And I've used the Wreath 3D embossing folder underneath it. So we'll go ahead and do our card. So we're going to start with a card base that is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. We'll just burnish that down. And I also have a piece that I've embossed with the Wreath 3D embossing folder that's 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. All right, and I'm going to adhere this to the card base. Anything that's embossed, I like to use liquid glue because it gets down in those nooks and crannies. And this will be, I was gonna add some color to it. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna live dangerously and add it while it's on the base. All right. So I'm gonna add a little bit of Lost Lagoon to it. Here's my Lost Lagoon. And I have a blending brush here. And we'll bring in a piece of paper. Because I just want a light color, so I'm gonna take and get a lot of the color off the brush before I add it to the wreath. So I don't want it that dark. The way it kind of defines the wreath, makes it the embossing stand out a little bit. Thanks, Suzanne. Okay. Hi, Terry. Let me look at the comments here. All right, so we're just adding a little more color. We just want a light color to make those leaves stand out. And there's some berries there too. All right. So now we're going to make our little pinwheel quilt pattern to add on to this. And you guys, I hope you can see that it's such a pretty design with wreath. There's little berries on there. So we have another template, a smaller template. This one is, the squares are 2 3/8 by 2 3/8. And I have cut my cardstock from Pretty Peacock. This will be the bottom layer. All right, and the other layer is, oh, look at that end. I'm gonna snip that off there. I've been really in the mood to quilt, and I got my sewing machine ready to do a little sewing and quilting. I love to quilt. And it kind of put me in the mood to do some quilt cards. All right, so now we're going to add our adhesive to the center here. Line that back up. And we're going to add this over that. And just hold it a minute. We'll let that sit. All right, so from the Elegant Pine DSP, we have 4 pieces of a light pattern. Do we have any other quilters on today? And 4 pieces of the dark pattern. I cut some extra here. All right, so let's start with our light pattern. No, I want it to end in the light pattern. So we're gonna start with the Pretty Peacock, and I'm just gonna put a line of glue on the one side, on the right, back of the right side. Because we want to be able to put our last square underneath this flap here. These squares are die cut with the smallest stylish shape square. And I don't, yeah, it's this one right here. The other one I was showing you is missing here, but all right, so now we're gonna go ahead and alternate with our lighter color, and we want to see just a little bit of an edge of that Pretty Peacock cardstock. So we'll go with this one. It's really easier if I use tweezers. Yeah, so it's kind of a messy rain here in Western New York. So I want to go this way. And it's supposed to get colder. There was snow in the forecast, but I'm not sure if there is now. And you just want to watch that these are lined up too as you're going. And again, you don't have to use the Stylish Shapes dies to die cut these. You can just cut your paper. Let's see what these are. I think they're about 1 inch. Yeah, they're like a 1 1/8, 1 1/16. All right, so now we're going to add this next one here. Tomorrow I have to get groceries and prepare food. This one needs to go over just a little bit. Okay. We're doing, my son is doing turkey, and my daughter makes delicious mashed potatoes, so she's doing those, daughter-in-law. And dinner rolls, they have like a honey syrup on them, they're really good. And then I'm doing ham and macaroni and cheese, homemade mac and cheese. My mom is bringing coconut cream pies and sugar cookies. My daughter-in-law Amanda is bringing, I think, a veggie tray. And I'm trying to think, who am I missing? Oh, one daughter-in-law is bringing deviled eggs and something else, and I can't remember what it is right off. So we'll have lots of food. Okay, so here's our last square. Cherry Lane stamp. Oh, yeah, it does kind of, doesn't it? I didn't even think about that. Okay, so this is our last one. So this one is going to slide in underneath our first square right here. All right. And we're going to line it up this way. If you have a quilter in your a family member or friends, they would appreciate a card like this. Okay, so there is our square. And we're going to add a little circle to this. This is from the Stylish Shapes dies also. Right, like that. And you could do a smaller one too. This one's a little larger, and we'll put a sentiment on it. Let's do Lost Lagoon. No, let's do red. I think we'll do red. And, oh, I know what I was going to do. I was going to use I don't know if these are back in stock, but these are awesome. These greetings for you mix and match. They're stickers actually, and there's, I think, 8 pages, and there's all different sentiments, and they're in different, like this is Season's Greetings here, and this is also Season's Greetings. So they're great because they're so easy to use, and I'm not sure if they're back in stock, but they're called Greetings for You Mix and Match. So we'll just use the gold. And you could color them. You can take your sponge dauber or your blending brush and color them in. Hi, Nancy. I know it's rainy here too, Nancy. My brother and his wife are driving up from York today to stay with my mom for Thanksgiving. So they will be driving in rain. All right, so here's our little bit of joy. See if I can center it. It is not centered. Okay, that looks pretty good. And we will add it on here. I'm not going to pop it up. I'm just going to add it with glue. Thank you, Nancy. All right. So let's bring our card base back in here. So we have this lovely, little center pinwheel kind of ornament, but design going on there. And let's pop that up with dimensionals on the back. I'm using quite a few. I usually don't use this many, but I'm going to for this, just to make sure it stays on there good. Okay. I don't know if I got that one. Nope. All right, so let's get our joy here back, and we'll put it right, let's see if that looks centered. Okay, I think that's about right. There's our joy, and we need a little ribbon on that. Oh, I have red, but I'm not sure I want red on there. Let's make a bow and see what it looks like. What would be really pretty is that gold edged ribbon. Oh, that's kind of pretty. So tomorrow morning I have to go early to the grocery store. I want to go early because I'll probably try to avoid the madhouse, but probably will still be busy. All right, so we need some glue dots. Hi, Ans. You have Pinwheel? You should post some of your cards. I would love to see them. Okay, so we're going to add 2 glue dots up there. We're going to add our little ribbon. Ooh, that's pretty. I like that. Joy, joy, joy. And for the inside here, oh, I didn't cut an inside out piece or inside piece. So I'm going to leave it for now. But I would just probably put a piece on the inside with some DSP across the bottom, or with these little squares across the bottom. That would be kind of pretty, actually. You could put them like this if you had 3 of them on the inside. All right, so there is our project number 2. And where is project number 1? I was going to show you that ornament. Here it is. So here's the ornament we did. And there is the card. All right, now I have this next card I'm really excited to share with you. So this one, I'm calling it my Pinwheel Table Runner card because it's extended the pinwheel across the front of the card, Has a nice long decorative, looks like a table runner on the card there. It says peace, love, and joy. And so we're going to start with a piece of basic white cardstock. Oh, I'm sorry. We're starting with shaded spruce cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I'm just going to burnish that down. And get these out of here. All right, so I have embossed a piece of basic white cardstock that's 5 3/8 by 4 1/8 with the peaceful something, I can't remember the name of it, but it's this one here. It comes with a Peace on Earth stamp set bundle. Really pretty. It has that nice frame, and then the Peace on Earth dies fit right in there. Thank you, Kathy. All right, so we're going to put those aside for now. And we're working with 2 pieces of shaded spruce that are 2 3/8 by 2 3/8. All right, and so I'm going to get it on my template here, line it up. We'll add our adhesive in the center. And then add our other piece over it. Let's see. All right, so there's our base. All right, so we're going to start with our little pieces, and we're going to use some of the same colors we've used already. And so for our first square here, we're only putting it on the right side, so we can tuck that last piece underneath. And again, you want to make sure everything is lined up really straight, especially with this card, because we're going to cut one of these in half. So you're going to make 2 of these bases for this card. This paper is so pretty. It has the snowflakes in it that you can die cut. Okay, so this is lined up straight, and we have the edge going on there. And we're using the shaded spruce. I will have a free project sheet for these projects. And my ordering special this week is you get the free tutorial for 6 projects with the pine tree trimmings. And it includes several 3D projects, including the pocket box card that will hold 3 cards, the envelope flap card that's been so popular, snowflake. I'll show them to you again. So it's a PDF tutorial for 6 projects, and if your order is $75 or more, you get to choose one of my tutorials from my online store that's $15 or under. All right, let's see if we're lined up here. Just checking. Those are across from each other. The base on these are 2 3/8 by 2 3/8, but the ornament, the ornament is 3 1/8 and 3 1/8. Okay. And then if you don't hear it, you can get it off of anybody that's, it'll be on the project sheet too. All right, so we have our last square to add. This one's gonna go up here. It's gonna tuck under this square right there. So we're gonna tuck it right under there. And then I'm gonna come in and add adhesive to the underside of this flap. Just like that. Okay, so you need to make 2 of these, and I've already made the other one just to save time today. So the first one, this one, we're going to line up in the center of this piece that's embossed, and you can tell the center because there's flourishes on the top and the bottom. So this is going to be lined up like that in the center. And this is for our table runner card. I'm calling it a table runner because it looks like a quilt table runner. All right, and let's see. So we're gonna go about like this. All right, that looks pretty even there. Okay, then the other one, here's the other one I made earlier. So we're gonna cut this in half, and you can decide which way, what corners you want on the ends. You want dark, you've got white here, you've got dark here. I think I'll go with it this way. So I'm gonna bring in my trimmer and lay the points in the trough of the trimmer here. All right, and you want to start with your blade in the center of your ornament, so it cuts your ends nicely. Oh, that's a little bit. I don't dare tear it. See if I can get it back in there. Right. You know what? I'm going to take my scissors and cut it because it's almost cut through. There we go. All right, so we've got these 2 sides here. Oh, I found my gold trim. I see it now. It was in the bottom of the box. All right, so bring this back in. And do you want it this way? Let's see here. Or let's try flipping them this way. Yeah, I think I want it like this. Now, this little bit of green here that's showing is going to be covered by the sentiment. So let's go ahead and put our dimensionals on. We're going to add these with dimensionals. And your points on these will hang over the ends just a little bit. And you want to make sure your points are the same as your middle points here. The same. I'm going to move that in just a little. And this is too high. Let's move it down a little bit. So I'm lining up my edges. Right? There's that one. I think I'm adding more to this one than I did the other one. Okay. All right. All right. And this is going to butt up right against here. And I'm looking to line up my edges here. Okay, so there is our basic, it looks like a table runner on a table. And now we're going to stamp our sentiment. And I'm using a sentiment from Peace on Earth. This one right here, it's peace, love, and joy. And I'm going to use Secret C ink. I'm going to get as close to that top edge as I can. We'll bring the trimmer back in and trim that down. I'm going to trim a little bit off that top edge because we're going to put a piece of Secret C behind it. So we want to get it pretty close to those letters. Peace, love, and joy. I'll cut this off just a little bit there, and a little bit right there. And then so here's a piece of Secret C. Thank you, Cherry Lane Stamps. And this is gonna go right on, be centered on that. And we'll cut the ends off. Peace, love, and joy. And we want just a little bit on the ends. Now this is high, these are a little higher than the center. So, before we add this, we're gonna add some die cuts, but, so we're just gonna add glue to the ends of that strip. So we have some die cuts pine boughs. And these are from the branching out dies. I'll show those to you. If you don't have these are like the bomb. I love these. They're layering dies, but I'm using this branch here and the little pine cone die. And I'm gonna adhere this on here like this. So I'm gonna add my glue in the larger areas. Slide that under there. Just press it down a little bit. Oh, come on. And then we have some little pine cones to add, and I'm going to add these with mini dimensionals. Put one there. We'll put one of them there. And you'll put one right here, hanging down off the branch there. Okay, now let's add our sentiment across there. You just want to center that. It looks centered about like that. And then I'm going to come in with the gems that I had. I'm sorry, I cannot remember the name of these, but they will be in the project sheet. And we're going to add them to our branches, the clusters. A cluster there, and then one up here. And then this is going to go on our card base, which is lost under everything sitting on the desk here. This is shaded spruce. Peace, love, and joy. For the inside, we'll add another branch. Like that. And I have a little pine cone here. Oops. We'll just put him right there. And then this will be our inside piece. Be pretty, the branch on the envelope too. It'd be really pretty. And then you can add a sentiment to the inside. You've got lots of room to write if you'd rather just write something in there. All right, so we had this project, and we had the ornament, and we had this little card here too today. So there will be a free project sheet on my blog, and don't forget to comment and share to be put into a drawing for some goodies next week. And Margaret Bourgoin won for the last live, commenting and sharing. So thanks so much for joining me today. Hope you have a great day. Bye now.